everybody. We are back on again for the third week in a row. I have the lovely Rashida Strober, the dark-skinned activist. And today we're talking about not necessarily a topic that maybe affects Black men, but definitely that affects Black women. And it could have a lot to do with Black men indirectly, but this is called Why Are Black Women Skin Bleaching in Africa and Other Places? So welcome back, Rashida. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on again. Oops, sorry about that, my lighting here. I'm doing great though. I'm having a fantastic day and I hope everybody is too.
Okay, so skin bleaching is a big problem in a lot of Black communities, in particular Black communities abroad. Not only Black communities, but we see it in Indian communities. Mm-hmm. We see it in Filipino communities, Asian communities. Mm-hmm. What's the issue with skin bleaching, and how does this relate to your work as a dark skin activist?
Right, my work is I spoke on the case for a dark skin activist. Why in the world do we need a dark skin activist? And skin bleaching is something that I have been talking about for like the longest, because one of the main reasons is I've actually dated men from Africa. And being around them, you know, you learn the culture, you see what's going on. I have a African friend, a very good African friend of mine that lives over in Tampa, and he has a African store, and he's from Nigeria. And by the way, there was a study, I just want to throw out a couple of stats here. There was a study conducted by this particular research entity that found that 77% of residents in Lagos, Nigeria, lighten their skin. And now I'm gonna tell you about my own personal experience as well in regards to what I've actually seen. I love my brother, I love him. He knows that. We worked together on a lot of projects. He's told me if I ever want to come to Nigeria, I could come, I got a place to stay, it's all good. But he does sell a whole bunch of skin lightening products in his store. And I remember I interviewed him one time for my channel, and that's one of the first things that people threw out there. And it is a contradiction. I think it was Danny Glover, I can't remember which actor said it. He said, we can't be afraid of contradictions, and it's definitely a contradiction. Mm-hmm. So I dated a guy from Ghana as well. And I asked him, this guy is now a PhD teaching at a very prestigious university in New York. And I asked him point blank, I said, why is it women, why are they lightening their skin? And he told me the bottom line is that's how they feel that they can get a better husband, a good quality, not just a husband, but a good quality husband. Lighter skin is directly associated, like you mentioned, in Asia, in India, and by the way, Asia is the leader. Asia is the market leader in terms of skin lightening. But all around the world, we find that having lighter skin is associated with a higher socioeconomic status. So it's no different in Ghana, for example. And he just told me straightforwardly, this guy's a PhD, he's told me it's just a straight up truth. None of that extra jargon. They want to get a husband. And the men tend to marry lighter skinned women. So you see, a lot of Ghanaian women, not Ghanaian women, but Nigerian women. That's the country that it's really prevalent over in Nigeria, that are simply lightening their skin. And his parents over in Ghana, his mom, she had a store at one time that she operated in Ghana, and she did sell skin lightening creams, and it did sell out. So the whole skin lightening industry is predicated on the self-esteem in regards to a woman's beauty, and not just females, but primarily females, in terms of how good you look. You got to be a certain skin tone in order to be able to hook up with the right man, make the right connections. It's connected to education. It's connected to jobs. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a huge worldwide epidemic is what I would call it. And it's a $1 billion industry. I mean, excuse me, the global industry analysts, that's the last stat I looked at. The projection was $10 billion. And they said by 2020, and you guys could go look up these stats. I always encourage people to go do that. By 2020, they projected that it would be like a $25 billion industry. So it's growing, the rate of growth, and Asia is spearheading the growth. So, you know, it's definitely a huge problem, and it's definitely related to dark skin activism because it's all, the socioeconomics of it is all tied in together. I'm gonna be quiet and let you talk.
No, this is pretty good. You said that there's a study, Lagos, which is the probably the biggest city in Africa, I believe, besides well, there's Kinshasa and Congo, which is pretty big, but I think Lagos is even bigger than that. 77% of Black women are doing the light skin thing, okay? And so let me ask you this, because 77% is this huge number. You told me that these women are saying, well, hey, this is how we're going to find a husband. You know, although Nigeria is a black place, been a black dark skin place for a long time, I got to ask you this. Do you actually buy that the women say that we need to lighten our skin because the men will want us more? Do you really believe that?
Yes, I do. I have to say I do buy it. I do buy it. I mean, I do buy it. And let me tell you why I buy it. Because again, I asked the source. I asked a Black man from the continent, from Ghana. And I asked him, I told him, I said, don't give me any mumbo jumbo, give me a straight answer. Why are these women doing this? And he told me point blank, they know that the men prefer lighter skinned women. This was now, again, let me just say this as well. This is one person, telling me their experiences that they've seen in, Africa, which in their home country of Ghana. This is one person. Mind you, his mother also had a store where she sold out on the skin lightening creams. So he's telling me the reason why that they want husbands. So, light skin, let's just be honest. I want to just be real honest. Light skin is associated with beauty. It is associated with notions of femininity. And I'm not trying to sit here and put it all off on the men. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just simply here to be truthful and honest about, why we have this epidemic of skin lightening. It's been associated with a higher status. It's been associated with, more education. So it's a whole host of different reasons. But for a woman, we talk about for a woman, it's about looking good, appearing beautiful to a man in order to attract a man. And these women feel like if light skin is going to help them achieve that, then they're doing what they need to do. And not just, I don't want to just focus on Nigeria, even though it's a big problem over there. And by the way, I just want to also say that the study said residents, quote unquote, when they were talking about the 77% of people lightening their skin, they said residents. But in my own head, I kind of assumed that to be the females. And I don't like making assumptions, but based on what I know about skin lightening, it's primarily the females on the continent of Africa. Now, if you go to places like Asia and India in particular, there are men that are lightening their skin as well. But even when we look at the Caribbean, it's a huge epidemic over there. I spoke to a sister from Trinidad and Tobago, and she was working on a documentary about skin lightening. And there are other documentaries on YouTube right now about skin lightening over in, for example, Jamaica. And you could just see the damage to these women's skin tones, and they don't care. And some of the women, I remember looking at some of the footage, they said that they're doing this to be considered more beautiful to attract a man. The sister that I spoke to from Trinidad and Tobago, she told me point blank, the men choose the light skinned women over the darker skinned women. That is what they choose. They choose them first. This comes from a person that actually lives in the country of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, and that sees this and experiences it. And she was honest enough to say, hey, I'm one of the acceptable ones because she's dark skinned, but she has, I call it levels or textures to having dark skin. She's kind of mixed with Indian, so her skin isn't as, you know, dark or rough, or, you know, the different characteristics that people like to assign to people with dark skin of the more Afrocentric type. I'm speaking like the dark skin with the quote unquote nappy hair, what I call the real essence of an African looking person phenotypically. This woman didn't fit that. She said, you know, I have a little bit of an advantage because my hair is good. I got the Indian type hair. But she was honest enough to admit that these women are lightening their skin because they know that this is what the men choose. So yes, we have to be honest. We have to say that, and again, I just want to say that I feel the men and the women have an equal part to play in this, in terms of the responsibility that they have to not allow this type of self-hate to infiltrate how they interact with each other and how, you know, they care for their bodies. You know, this stuff is dangerous. So it's a responsibility that we all have. But what I will also say as well, I think, and I've said this time and again, the men, Black men, hold the key. Black men can change the situation, because if Black men said, you know what, I'm going to be equally accepting of a darker skinned, natural haired, kinky haired woman as I will of a light skinned woman with quote unquote good hair. These are the terms that people are using. If the men would, you know, be equal in terms of how they select their mate, then I believe with all my heart and soul that this will help to slowly but surely dismantle industries like the billion-dollar skin lightening industry.
Let me be devil's advocate. Because I'm gonna have echoing.
Yeah, I hear that echo too.
What is that?
That's, I don't know. It's not over here. It's pretty quiet over here. So.
All right, let me see what's going on. Okay, we're good now.
Okay.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have a brother who's gonna have the mindset of, Rashida, you're saying that Black men are influencing Black women to skin lighten, but you know, Nigeria was a colony that had very little white infiltration. So there are not like tons of white women that are there in Nigeria. It's not a lot of mixed women in Nigeria. The reason why those Black women want to skin bleach is because they want to skin bleach, because they themselves want to look like somebody they saw. It has nothing to do with the fact that, I mean, look at Nigeria. Nigeria is growing leaps and bounds by the population. It has nothing to do with skin lightening. That's what they're gonna say. And this whole epidemic just happened, you know, over the last maybe 10 to 15 years. Well, you know, so is it the fact that Black women or women in general are just doing that because they themselves see themselves inferior to white women? Because some of these places, like Nigeria, Ghana, there are very few white women there that are considered the beauty standard. There's not no white women on TV. There's no white people on dollars there. They're all Black people on the Naira. There's Black people on the SETI in Ghana. So how is it that these people, these women, are saying, well, we're trying to skin lighten because Black men don't want us, when in fact, there's no white women to compare you to there?
Right. And that's an excellent point. And, you know, I would have to say, I can agree with some of the points that you're making in regards to, you can't put all the blame off on Black men with these women saying, oh, I'm just lightening my skin just because I want to get a husband. We have to look at the history of it. The history does start with manifest destiny. That's what I call it, because that's what it is. We have to look at the historical legacy of imperialism, colonialism, European expansion. And that was all associated with wealth and power. So if you have people that are on top, that are coming into your country, colonizing your country, taking over your country, enslaving you, and then you're seeing the wealth that is generated from, for example, slavery, and you're seeing that it's not Black people that are on top, because at the end of the day, Europeans did go out and colonize, and it was a conquest. The entire world. I mean, all over. Like I said, India, the Americas, the Caribbean, everywhere. And that was the face Europeans were, and they still are the face of economic power. And with that comes other powers, like, or, you know, they determine who is beautiful, who is, you know, who someone said politics is who gets what and how much. And it's true. So if you are the world power, and if you are, you know, determining everything in regards to economics, everything in regards to how the society operates, the government, then you're going to have people that are going to look to you to everything. They're going to look to you for, like I said, going back to notions of beauty. So I'm agreeing with you that it's not, we can't sit up here and lump this all on the Black man. It stems back to a imperialist legacy of European expansion all over the world, and it has impacted everyone, not just you know, people from Africa or people of African descent. It has impacted people all over the world. So no, we cannot sit here and blame Black men only for the problem. We can't. The problem doesn't even start with Black men. That's the truth. Again, it goes back to European imperialism and the capitalist expansion. And again, the relationship, I call it systemic economic darkism, because it's all about money. It's all about economics. And once again, going back to the Ghanaian, he told me that these women, they want higher status husbands. It's about money. Of course, they want men who are, you know, making money. And they feel that these men will be more attracted to them if they are less dark. So, you know, but again, the root cause is definitely in European expansion and imperialism, definitely. I mean, I would never even try. I'd be a fool to refute that, because it makes no sense.
Let's talk about some of the dangers of skin bleaching. We know, you know, the positives is, well, I might be able to get a husband, or I may be able to look more beautiful. But you talked about some of the damaging things that can come out of this. Can you elaborate on some of the negative downsides of skin bleaching?
Right. There's a chemical in the skin bleaching cream called hydroquinone. I hope that I'm pronouncing that huge scientific word correctly. But this chemical has been linked to causing diseases like cancer, of course, skin rashes, itchy skin, you know, just, I don't know if you guys have ever, which I'm pretty sure you have, you've seen a person that has been habitually lightening their skin using especially inferior skin lightening products. You could just see the blotchiness all over their faces. It's never like even toned. There's been some cases where people have literally, you could see like the meat, the redness, you know how when your skin gets down to like the bloody readiness underneath the actual skin. These people have bleached their skin so much so that that portion of their skin has just been rubbed off. So, you know, and of course, going back, the biggest thing is the cancer thing. So, you know, the downside of skin bleaching, in my opinion, I think it outweighs anything that's associated with being positive, because obviously something like cancer can kill you, you know. Obviously, if you are bleaching your skin to the point where you can't see the natural tone of the skin anymore, and you have all this discoloration and you have brown spots in your face, to me, if you, let's say you go on a job, you may not get hired because of the way that your skin looks. Or some of these women, they may be doing this to get a man, but I'm just wondering what man would want to be associated with a woman that has, you know, big brown splotchy spots all over her skin tone and uneven skin tone. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So there are the downsides definitely outweigh the anything that would be associated with being positive. And I don't even personally, I don't see a positive to it. But
let's talk about this, because I watched the Jamaican documentary that you were alluding to. And true to form, I saw that not only Black women, and when we think about skin bleaching in the diaspora, we think of Black women, but we do not think that Black men do this. And there was a particular case, which I feel that it might be an anomaly, that there was a Black man who was skin bleaching. He had some of the symptoms. Obviously, you know, you're at a risk for melanoma or skin cancer and these things. But let me ask you, in your opinion, why is it that Black women, because once again, white men are taking Africa, as you said, imperialism. And of course, you know, Uganda region, that protectorate, Rhodesia, Ghana, Gambia, white men were in control, right? Why is it that Black men don't have the need to skin bleach when the white man was really overtaking them, right? Why is it you don't think that the Black men are skin bleaching as much as Black women? Why don't you think that's happening?
Because beauty is associated. Well, let me just go back to and this is just really simplistic. This is not something that's highly intellectual. This is a very simple thing to understand as far as I'm concerned. Once again, with European imperialism, they set the standards. Europeans set the standards. When we talk about women and beauty, it's all about, you know, again, notions of beauty has been associated with European women. Beauty starts and ends with European women. That is very simple to understand. Okay, because just think about it. Rules they make, whoever takes over, you know, whoever wins the conquest, whoever wins the war, they make the rules. And that's what happened. Europeans, they went to all parts of the world, they conquered, and therefore they made the rules. And that includes the rules on who is pretty and who is ugly. And if you want to put it in terms of a pyramid, at the top of the pyramid, you have the women of European descent. They are the most beautiful, hands down, no question, they got it. Everyone else falls underneath the European woman in terms of beauty. So that's really where it comes from. And again, the whole thing about beauty is associated in this type of society, in this type of situation that we find ourselves in after European colonialism and imperialism. We find ourselves in this situation where the women of European descent are at the top and everybody else falls below. So then you got a tier system where it gets a little bit darker as you go down, you know, slightly, and then darker and darker, and then you got the dark skinned women at the very bottom, and you looking up here and you seeing, okay, I see all the wealth, I see all the status, I see all the good things in life happening to the women that are on the top. What can I do to get there? One of the things I could do is perhaps lighten my skin. Or one of the things that I could do is get with, this was big with the Portuguese in, I believe, Sierra Leone, and other places that they went. They would intermingle with the natives and have mixed race offspring, and then they would become the buffer race or the ruling class. So I mean, it's you know, that's the reason why when it comes to men, their success in life is not dependent on beauty. It's just not. Their success in life is dependent on how well they can provide, how strong they are, physical strength, mental strength, you know, educational strength. Even if we go back and look at the Reconstruction period, you know, after slavery, this has been proven. You know, people get mad with me about facts, but I'm only giving y'all facts. Like, I'm not gonna come on here lying. I like to deal with facts. After the Reconstruction era, it was proven that darker skinned men, as they got more education, they decided to marry lighter skinned women. Now, again, we could be upset about that all we want. Don't be mad with me. Well, you can, I can't stop you. Go have it out with history. Go fight the air, because that's what happened. It ain't my fault. So, you know, that's the thing. They saw these women as more status, as, you know, symbols of status, higher status, more beautiful. And the men were impacted by this as well. Of course, it's all intermingled. But I'm just trying to, you know, I don't want this to be something that's overly complex, because it's really not. It's just he who makes the rules. They run everything. They determine everything. They set the tone for everything, and everybody else fall in line. And some people, you're gonna have some outliers who don't want to fall in line, but you know what I'm saying. Which me, the dark skinned activist, I ain't falling in line. That's why there's dark skinned activism. But you know, that's what happened. That's why you don't have to have men running around here worrying about on a whole lightening their skin, because it's not a factor for them like that in life. Wallace Thurman, in his book The Blacker the Berry, one of the quotes was something to this effect, that had she been born a boy, and this quote is referring to the protagonist, who is a dark-skinned female. Her mother said something to the effect of, had she been born a boy, her life would have been easier. So if she was born this book was written in 1929. If she was born a boy, a dark-skinned boy, things would have been a little bit more easier for her, versus being born a dark-skinned female. And then if you look at slavery, let's go back to slavery, you would see some of these women that had them doing the same exact work as the men. Mm-hmm. And dark skin has historically, and it comes from slavery, I believe, it has been associated with being more masculine. So you saw these women out there, right there with the men, doing the same type of work, you know, looking to some people will say masculine. So, you know, all these things, when you start to think about all these things, you realize that the men are not as impacted by skin lightening in terms of life chances like a woman would be, because again, a woman's life chances depends a lot on her beauty. And I don't care what any woman says. Well, I do care, but I mean, y'all know what I mean. We could talk about education. That's great. That's fine. But when you are walking down the street, don't nobody know if you got a PhD. They're looking to see how, oh, she look, that's, you know. So that's the whole thing. It's all about the beauty aspect for a woman, and a woman beauty is associated with skin tone. So, and you know, that's been proven by the colorism scholars all over the world. So.
Let me ask you this, because I gotta play devil's advocate again. Mm-hmm. You made the case that, okay, dark-skinned women who want to marry, as you said, quote unquote, rich and successful men, skin bleach their skin to do this. So, in other words, what we want to say is the women who do skin bleach they're dishonest, they're gold diggers, they're liars, because once again, they're really what we're saying. So these women, actually, it might be a good idea that they do skin bleach, because once again, they're dishonest, they're liars, they're gold diggers, because they're only looking for those men who are already rich or wealthy. And for, let's say, the average brother, who is typically my audience, you know, I'm about to throw a wrench in this, you know, blue-collar brothers, maybe they're middle class. What we're saying is that these women who skin bleach, they don't want these guys. I mean, that's what I'm listening to you talk, and I'm seeing. I know that's not your reasoning for doing it if you don't do it, but when you present it, what my mind is processing is the everyday black men in Nigeria, the middle class black men in Nigeria, and even maybe the upper middle class black men in Nigeria, these women who are skin bleaching are saying, hey, fuck you guys. We don't want you. We want the upper echelon of any guy who it is. And, you know, top guys in the, you know, country, no matter what these guys do, could be a white expat. That's what we're trying to get. Fuck the middle class black man, fuck the upper middle class black man. And that's why these women are skin bleaching. And the brothers who could want them, we're talking about the middle class, we're talking about the educated, maybe upper middle class, or the blue collar guys. These women are saying in so many words, fuck you. Doesn't matter, we won't want you. We're gonna put this facade on to get the topper percentage of the men. And then what's going to happen is these women are going to say, oh, black men don't want us because we're not light skinned. No, you're going after the top 5 or 6% of the top percentage of men. And this is true what happens in the black community. I mean, if you look at the skin bleaching and you look at the black baby mamas out there, this is the same fucking thing. This is the same thing. And the problem that you have is you have the 80-20 rule in effect, or the 95-5 rule in effect. You have the men who can build for the community, who want to actually be with black women. And you have those men being overlooked. And then when those men go out and go get a real white girl, oh, I can't believe he likes a white. No! I mean, do you get what I'm saying here?
No, I understand what you're saying.
Okay, what's your response to that kind of response?
I understand what you are saying. I respect what you are saying. I would say, in light of our historical situation as colonized people, I'm not sure that I would say that these women are necessarily being gold-digging women, or some of them are. I can't exclude all of them. But I would not say on a whole that these women are necessarily being gold diggers, or that they're lying, or, you know, I think that it has to do with responding to the situation, the historical situation, whether or not you realize it or not, the historical situation that you happen to be placed in. So, you know, if you have been in a situation, we as colonized people, people of conquest, if we've undergone a situation that has caused us to choose people based upon certain characteristics, and it was put in place not because we said this is what we want. You understand what I'm saying? We didn't say, okay, you need to lighten your skin in order to get this type of husband, because I have to go back and think, what was it like prior to foreign people, foreign influences coming into Africa? And I have personally found no evidence of darkism. I have not, and I would just love to see if someone has found evidence of darkism in regards to the relationship between black men and black women in pre-colonial, pre-imperial Africa. And I haven't found that. So I have to think, what were these relationships like prior to, and compare it to the relationships between the black man and the black woman in this post-colonial era. So I can't really, I'm empathetic is what I'm saying. I'm empathetic, to be honest with you. I'm empathetic to the men and the women, because again, I think that a lot of this is through no fault of our own. And I want to kind of stay away from necessarily bashing, now chastising and constructive criticism. That's very important. I believe in that, because that's the only way. That's why I'm on here talking to you. I mean, I think this is constructive, you know, but I just want to kind of stay away from necessarily blaming the victim, if you will, because underneath this system, we are victims. We are victims of you know, imperialism and colonial. That's what it is. We are. And so we just like, we woke up and we found ourselves in this situation. And it's like, here it is. This is the situation. What do we do with it? So, you know, I don't think that these women on a whole are necessarily going after these men thinking, I just want to just, you know, be a gold digger. And I do also believe that there are a lot of women in Africa, for example, that date and marry men of all different classes. I don't think that it's something to where it's just like an exclusionary thing where I just want the upper echelons only, or the top, I don't know, top 5%, top 10% of, you know, the best men. I just think it's a situation where, okay, how can I make myself able to get a husband that's the best husband that I could get? You know, it's all associated with getting out of their economic situation, their social situation. So I don't see it like that. And I don't think that black men should look at it that way. I mean, and if you are going to look at it that way, consider other aspects of it.
Okay.
And I just want to just be clear. I think that there are some women out here who are absolutely guilty of that. Let me just say this. I know a brother or some brothers where some of these women have actually lied to these men and scammed them, gotten them to marry them, came over here to America, and they left them and did all kinds of bad, nasty, treacherous things to these men. So that's what, all of them are not innocent at all. They're not innocent. Some of them are guilty. But on a whole, I don't want to just like, throw the baby out with the bathwater, if you will. I want to just say that a lot of these women and men, they are victims of a system that they had no control over creating. And we're just simply trying to deal within that system. And our talk and our conversation is one of the constructive dialogues that can lead to solutions to how do we solve this problem.
Let me actually, I actually have a question. Let me read this now from Don Calypso. He says, ask Rashida if she believes skin color trumps facial symmetry and waist to hips ratio when it comes to female beauty.
Yes, I do. I think and let me tell you why. I think that's a very good question. Because I've seen this with my own eyes. I've seen non-dark skinned women who were not attractive at all. It's all around us. Like if you really pay attention. But in my own personal experience, I have seen unattractive non-dark skinned Black women get chosen over beautiful dark skinned women with a nice body, nice face. They still got passed on because, again, the Europeans, remember that tier system, remember the pyramid. Europeans are at the top in terms of female beauty, and as you go down, it trickles down. And that's what happens. That happens to a lot of dark-skinned women, where they will be maybe second draft pick, and it doesn't matter that this non-Black woman, non-dark-skinned woman, it doesn't matter that she may be, just not good looking at all. You take away skin tone, a light skin tone, she just may not be good looking. But I have still seen, this type of woman get picked first. It happens. I mean, that's something that I think that in the Black community, we just need to just go ahead and admit to it. I see too many people, they're not honest about it. And it happens like right in your face. I have personally seen it. So skin tone, in my personal experience, from what I have seen, yes, it trumps everything else. Yes, especially down south, because I'm in the South. I'm in Florida, and skin tone is very important down here.
Okay. Let's kind of go to another question here, and this question is going to be, what do you think that can be done to encourage, Black men, Black women, well, predominantly Black, all across the Black diaspora? What is it that we can do? Because I don't like this thing either. I'm a dark-skinned person myself. I like my Blackness shit. Nighttime come out, I'll be stealing shit. I'm just messing with you. But what can we do as proud dark-skinned people from the continent, originally? What is it that we can do to preserve our complexion, be more proud of it, and stop the women, and not try to stop, but what can we do to get women to not be involved in this type of thing?
Right, great question. I think, and the reason why I say this is simply because I have a lot of respect and love for Black men. It's not to say this to blame the Black man. It is just I see Black men as a part of the main solution, giving y'all respect as the man. My father, I watched my father. He would always be so respectful to Black women. He would give them compliments, and he meant it from his heart. He treated them with the utmost respect. So that's the one thing that I would say first, just based off of my experience and what I saw growing up. That's number one. I know that some Black men may say, well, you know, you smile or you say hi to some of these women and they get an attitude and they look at you funny, and it's true. And I just want you to consider a brother out in Tucson. He said that something to the effect of we have to try to understand the mindset of what is going on. Black men have to try to understand the mindset and the experiences of Black women in terms of everything that we've gone through within this country as descendants of slave people. So we have to understand that and try to be sensitive to that. So, you know, all the Black women, they may not respond well, but that's okay. Just understand they may have gone through something. Some will respond well and will thank you for it and will like it and will embrace it. So we need to focus on that. So first and foremost, you know, in a respectful way, let these Black women know that they are beautiful and they are loved in their own skin. That is very important. Now, the skin lightening industry, that is something, I believe it's Ghana and it might be even Nigeria. There's several African countries that have put a ban on skin lightening products. So efforts like that, because they know that these skin lightening products can lead to disease and cancer and that kind of thing. So they banned it. Join up with efforts to dismantle the skin lightening industry. I mean, you could, all you have to do is Google it. There are organizations out there that are actively working to dismantle skin lightening growth, the growth of the industry within their countries. I would say band together with those people. And that's one of the things that I have personally been trying to do myself. I've been trying to connect, and it's not as going as fast as I would like for it to go, but I've been trying to connect with a sister, work on a campaign to do just that. And then the sister that I work with over in Trinidad and Tobago, she's working on a documentary, which she included me as a part of in the interview. So things like that, forming partnerships with people. Aspect of it is with the children. I have a dark-skinned little girl. I am constantly, and you have to do this. You have to do this. This is very important. This might be one of the most important things, because these little people are going to grow up and run the world one day. So constantly affirming the beauty of dark skin to both little boys and little girls of all colors, because I have seen children disparage, children of all colors. I have seen them disparage dark skin. And when I see it, I don't sit there as an adult and go, like, I don't know what's going on. No, we deal with it and we handle it. You know, we do it in a tactful manner, of course, but we handle it. So I would say, talking to your children, don't children to say things like, you're black and ugly, or you're black. I've heard countless children go, you're black. Well, you are black, and what's wrong with that? So if someone is saying, if a child is saying someone is black, and you know that they're doing it in a way to disparage that person's skin tone, then at that moment, right then and there, it needs to be handled and dealt with, and it needs to be explained to the child the beauty of dark skin. You know, why we should not be disparaging dark skin. So start with the kids. Now, this is something that I have done myself. I speak in the public school systems. I have done workshops. Oh my gosh, so much stuff in terms of speaking to the children. I have the book, How to Be the Hottest Dark Skinned Chick on the Planet, which is actually a motivational book for really anybody. But, you know, even though it says chick, it's for dark skinned people and anybody that, you know, wants to improve themselves. So, you know, and another thing that we need to be doing is dialoguing like this. So we got this situation where Black men, their channels are being flagged on YouTube in order to censor them. I don't think that that is the solution. I think if you really want to solve the problem, we need, even if you don't agree with the person, we still need to sit down and talk, because that is how we get to solutions. So we shouldn't be afraid to sit down and talk to each other like we're doing now about these issues in an honest and open manner, because the world is watching, and you never know who's watching this and who's going to be impacted by this and will say, hey, I'm going to turn around my behavior and do XYZ based on what I heard. So having open discussions like this continuously, that I know, because I've seen the changes, some changes occurring that will impact this whole self-love and, you know, among people of color, among dark-skinned people. You know, so we need to have more of these conversations. I totally believe that. I just want to say, calling someone, and I'm not going to say no names, but I heard this, and someone actually emailed me about this, probably about, I want to say 4 years ago. They asked me, what do I think about a particular pro-Black person calling another person that they didn't like crispy, when you know that this person is a victim of what I call it, they're a victim of dark-skinned mental abuse. I would never in a million years condone someone, I don't care if you don't agree with the person in their rhetoric. Mm-hmm. Why would you take, somebody got an open wound, why would you take a knife and dig into the wound? That is literally insane. And you call yourself pro-Black? That makes no sense to me.
Oh yeah, you know, so, I think I know exactly who you're talking about, but we gonna just let that go for right now. Play out. But,
I just had to throw that out there since we was.
Yeah. No, and it's funny because the person that you're talking about actually is a person that I don't think you like. I mean, the person who was being called crispy, he said some mean things about you before, and just goes to show that you actually are a fair person. To steal.
Well, I can't condone, let me just say, I can't condone anybody disparaging someone because of their dark skin. I don't care if I don't agree with the person. If you're calling somebody, you know that that person is behaving the way that they're behaving because people have been calling this person names like this for years. So you're digging at this person. Yeah. That's not right. Yeah, no, I cannot condone it. I think that is just absolutely just horrendous.
Right. No. I totally agree. And what I want to do before, while you brothers are in the chat, there's somebody, wait, hold on. Oh, thank you, Negro Mouse, for $2. Thank you. That dude, oh, serious. Thank you, man. $5. I've been sitting here focused on the chat so much. I haven't seen the people that donated. Thank you for the donations, you guys. I really appreciate it. Let's do this. As you always know, let's get the likes up on the chat. All right, so we have 91 watching. So let's go ahead and get the likes up on the conversation. So if you're listening right now, what are you doing? Like the damn video. All right, we're not gonna be on too long because Rashid has somewhere to go. We got about 13 minutes left, and we're gonna give away a free book. I ain't gonna tell you when, but we're gonna do it. All right. So shout outs to everybody in the chat. Let's get the likes up on the video. All right. You know how we do. Don't be stingy with the likes. The likes is free. All right. Give up the free likes, niggas. I mean, Negroes. However you want to do it. Let's come on. You guys know how you do. And then also, what we want to do is support Rashida by subscribing to her channel. So like the video, and then what I want you to do is to go ahead and click on this particular link I have in the chat. Subscribe to that, all right? And once again, we've already made arrangements. We gave 2 free books away the first time she came on, which was 2 weeks ago. Last week we didn't, but this week we are going to. So stay alive for the next 12 minutes. She's going to autograph it, send it to you as a paperback. So get the likes up. Rashida, what I want to talk to you about now is something that maybe that we don't have any control of. Now we do have control as Black men. As saying, hey, sister, you know, you're beautiful, you know, you're dark skinned. We can do that, right? But one of the things that we don't have control over is the media. And you have women like Nicki Minaj. Okay. Now, this is not about, you know, Nicki Minaj is not out there looking for a husband, but, you know, Nicki Minaj has a big deal with Mattel Barbie. She's big deals with lingerie. You have a lot of chicks trying to look like Nicki Minaj. I mean, you really do. And a lot of women who are, you know, even Africa, some Nigerian celebrities, they are chicks who are Nicki Minaj's looking, you know, very fake, very phony looking. how do you combat the hip hop industry, right? And the things that they are doing to promote, women to look a certain way.
Right. Well, I think that the hip hop industry has not been good to dark-skinned women. I don't feel that the hip hop industry has ever been really fair in regards to how dark-skinned women have been represented. And I think it's always been an over-representation of women, whether they be in videos, mainly in a lot of music videos, of how, dark-skinned women being represented in a untasteful way or distasteful way, and just not being seen in a way that people could say, well, this is someone, or a young girl could say, this is someone I want to be like, or I want to emulate. I think there needs to be a balance. Okay, like you said, it's this issue of control. I don't know if we really can control, aside from deciding not to watch or not buying or supporting the person's products, we can control that. But I don't know if we can control who is put out. So I think what we have to do is not look to, if you're not seeing images, positive images of dark-skinned women represented through hip hop or through the media, I think what we have to do is look to ourselves within our own, because we have enough resources within our own community to see positive images of dark-skinned women, or you can create your own networks. So for example, right here on YouTube, or right online, not just YouTube, but online, we see positive images and beautiful images of darker skinned women. I also wanted to say, before I lose my train of thought here, in regards to that, the last dark skinned woman that was really portrayed in a very, very good, I'm trying to avoid the word light, but positive light, if you will, was Lauryn Hill. All right, that was Lauryn Hill. So that was her impact in regards to dark skin beauty and dark skin recognition can never, ever, ever be understated. But why? Why do we not have, well, there'll never be another Lauryn Hill, but where is the beautiful dark skinned woman to sort of, replace? It's never a balance. You see what I'm saying? We go all this long time. I think Lauryn Hill, the last time she was like really, really, really out was probably around maybe, I want to say 2000, something, somewhere around there. So why do you mean to tell me that there's no talented, dark-skinned rappers, MCs that could be put out there on the same level as a Nicki Minaj? I don't buy that. I kind of think that there's something going on in regards to people not wanting to push that particular image. It's an issue there. I think people need to think long and hard about that. And I've thought about this for a long time, because I was a teenager in the 90s, and I remember Lauryn Hill, and she made a huge impact on my life. And I go from 2000, we all the way in 2017. You mean to tell me you couldn't find one? Just one for the teenagers in the middle schoolers in the 2000s and beyond? I mean, it's not even fair. I mean, you have dark-skinned male rappers, they're there. I've seen them. We can point to plenty of them. But when it comes down to the dark-skinned female talent, even with the R&B, it's the pop music, you don't really see a dark-skinned woman that's really propelled to that next level. I haven't seen it. And so it's a huge problem. It's all about, for me, it's all about balance. It's all about let's be equal here. Let's create a good economic situation for a talented dark-skinned female rapper. Let's create a good economic situation for them to get some money too, for a talented dark-skinned female singer. Where is the opportunities? Go back to the idea of systemic economic darkism. It's a huge problem. It's a huge problem, and it bothers me a lot. I hope I answered your question.
I think a really good point, because Lauryn Hill was extremely talented, extremely superiorly talented.
Right.
And somebody like Fantasia, who is extremely talented. To me, I think she gives on probably some of the best performances that I've ever seen as a singer. And I really gotta say that the reason why she is not as, because she can definitely outsing Beyonce with eyes closed. I mean, there's nothing. Fantasia and Beyonce, you come on now, they ain't even the same bitch.
Oh no, I agree.
Fantasia is she's a bit definitely sexy to me. I think like really what it is that she doesn't have that maybe that look that America really wants, and that's probably why she's not as pushed. Because if it comes to talent, it ain't too many people that can outsing Fantasia. I'm sorry, they just can't.
No, there's not. I can't. And even there was a young lady, what's her name? She's on the tip of my tongue. Jasmine Sullivan. This young lady is like so super duper talented, and I'm just trying to understand why is she not? But it's a million of those same type of females. The question is why aren't they pushed? There's the money is there. So
people themselves, and I think you have a point with this. We have to push what we want to see. I think a lot of Black people really want to fit into white middle class, white upper middle class. You have an integrationist mindset. So we tend to not want to be associated with what looks like us and what sounds like us. And only we can support our own people. You see, for example, and many of you guys know, I got my yellow fever card. I've been debating if I'm going to Uganda on Thursday or not. I'm still deciding. When the Indians came to Uganda, they were controlling everything. They made sure that although many of them never even went to India, they kept all their traditions. They did not intermix. They made sure that they were true to who they were. And the problem with the African American is, even though we're in America, we're not influenced by what looks like us, and we have to support those things, if we want to see Fantasia or people like her or whatever. We got to support our own media. We got to stop asking, why doesn't ABC support it? Why does ESPN? You have to support it. If you like dark-skinned women, you have to support it. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that Black people got to understand. In my opinion.
But do you know, I just want to make this last point based off of what you're just piggybacking on what you're saying. Nina Simone, who I absolutely love with all my heart and soul, the tragedy of Nina Simone is that this was a Black woman that fought for Black people at the risk of having a career, at the risk of, the detriment of her own career. But she wound up being blackballed. I even hate to use the word blackballed. Oh, I hate to use that word. It's terrible that everything associated with Black or dark is bad. But this woman wound up, the irony of her life is that she did all this stuff when the civil rights movement came around, fighting for Black people through songs. I remember I watched the documentary. I read her book, I Put a Spell on You. Her husband, he tried to convince her, because he was a businessman. He tried to convince her to, hey, leave the civil rights stuff alone. Let's get this money. Let's make this money. He was getting her bookings in major venues, but her heart was there with her people so much that she said no. You understand what I'm saying? And this woman wound up over in Europe poor with no money. And do you know who had to come and bring her back to, getting, gigs and making money? Do you know who had to come? It wasn't our people. It wasn't our people. She moved over to Europe, and it was a European white man that was the one that came and became her manager and saw that she had some mental health issues, got her on some medication, got her a place to live, got her gigs, and pretty much took care of this woman. Like you was talking about, where were her own people? Who this woman, why couldn't they come along and say, this woman was somebody that fought for us through songs, through her art. She did so much for us. Where was the Black people when she needed them? where was they at when she needed them? This is scary to me. This is scary to me as a dark-skinned activist, as the dark-skinned activist. I think I look at Nina Simone and I think to myself, what if me? Somebody as great as Nina Simone and all the work that she put in from her heart and soul, like this woman did it from her soul. And look what happened. Look what happened. It's an absolute tragedy. And I know that we should be ashamed of ourselves. I just gotta say it. Like, it's just like, wow. But I'm enough of that, because that right there is like super emotional for me. I don't like the way that Nina Simone was treated. I can't stand it. I just think it's just horrible. But yeah.
So let's do this. I know that you said we have 1 hour. We've reached that 1 hour. I do appreciate you coming on. You guys like the video. If you haven't liked the video, get the likes up, and we're gonna go ahead and do the giveaway.
Darkism.
So first of all, what do they need to do? The first person who does what, Rashida?
The first person that emails me, because I'm at my email right now. You can email me at irwindevin@gmail.com.
How do you spell it?
IRWINDEVON So
all right.
the
first person to get her wins the book. Let's get
this book. Y'all see that?
Free. Yep. Y'all know y'all like free shit. What up, Lorenzo? Let's see what we got. Come on, you guys. Get that.
And let me just say, I really enjoy coming on here having these talks. I absolutely love it. I wish I had more time, but I just absolutely, because I think it accomplishes so much. I think people get a lot out of it. So
yeah, these are hot streams. People listen to them. Multiple thousands of minutes of listening. And this is a small channel that I'm on, right? I'm on my main channel has like 37,000 subscribers almost. This one has almost 5,700, and the watch times that we have is like 80,000, 75,000 minutes.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That is like completely awesome. So that lets you know that you're doing something important that people can appreciate.
Yeah, so that's like 52 days worth of Rashida in interviews that people watch. So do we have
exactly. All right, 2 people emailed at the same time. Wait a minute, hold up, let me see. They literally did, Oshay. At 1:15, I got 2 emails sitting here. One from Reynald Cherry and one from Maurice Witt. Shout out to both of y'all. Oh my God, they both emailed at the same time. That's crazy.
Timestamp.
Say that again.
What was the time? Did it say exactly what timestamp?
1:15. Both of these people emailed at 1:15. Both of them. I could email it to you so you can see it.
Okay, so wow. All right, so we have a draw, right?
Yeah, we got a draw here.
Okay, so let's do this again. Tiebreaker. All right, out of Reynald Cherry. And who's the other guy?
Maurice Witt.
Maurice Witt. So Erwin Devin, right? At gmail.com?
Yep, you got it. I'm sitting right here.
Email right now. Who's Ty? Email right now. Only those 2.
Oh, a third person emailed too, but that person did it at 1:16. But Reynald and Maurice did it at the same time.
All right, so Reynald and Maurice, email again. Oh, he says you can check the header to the second. Check the header, he said. Wait a minute.
Daytimes is saying 1:15, both of them. I'm looking at it right now. I'm clicking on the email because I definitely want to be fair. 1:15 for Reynald and Maurice. Okay, he won. So he just emailed me back. So you got it, Maurice. Thank y'all. But you know what I'm gonna do, because I don't want them to miss out. I have an electronic version of it. So for the other 3 people, I'm sorry, there was 2 other people that emailed. I'm gonna send them the ebook version of Darkism.
So it's all win.
Yeah, it's a win-win for everybody because I don't want them, and they took the time to shoot that email over. So as soon as I get off of the live stream, I will be sending the ebook version to, let's see, Reynald and the other person that said question everything winner. They wanted the free book. I'm gonna get this book to you in ebook version.
Ebook,
so
you still win. You still win. You win. And Chris Duffy from Nigeria. What's up with the $5 donation? See, look, I appreciate y'all. You know, them $5 donations, them shits add up. All right. So don't get me wrong. We about to start the Patreon for the Negro Manosphere website, and I'm gonna get 200 brothers. Give me $5 a month. All right. 200 brothers do that. That's gonna pay for almost the entire writing staff of Negro Manosphere. That's gonna pay for Obsidian. That's gonna pay for Alan Roger Curry, and that's gonna pay for Josh Salito. Just with 200 brothers stepping up with $5 a month. All right. So just $5. Yeah, I know you niggas got it. You know, doing some shit that you ain't got no business doing. Again, Rashida, thank you so much for coming by. The person who won, Maurice, give your address to her. She's gonna send you the book. It's gonna be certified mail with a tracking number, probably by tomorrow. And
yes.
Yeah, I just really appreciate you coming by. We have a really great discussion. You know what? Me and Rashida, you know, people say me and Rashida need our own show. Me and Steve Dedeen need our own show. Me and Alan Roger Curry now. So I have some good people that I can do some shows with.
Yeah.
You know? So shout out to Doug HCTV, Doug 757. That boy is crazy, man. Shout out to him. Anything else you want to say, Rashida?
I'm just sitting up here signing off on Maurice's book. And I just want to say thank you to you, Oshay. I want to thank you to everybody that's taking the time to listen, because that's very important. Even if you don't agree, I thank you for just listening to the different points of view. I really, really appreciate that.
All right. And like I said, it's black men and black women working together. I know people will be like, oh, you're a critic of black women. You hate black women. No, I hate rude people. And if they happen to be black, whatever, I hate them. All right, so you know we want to thank Rashida, give us plenty of insight. Well, hopefully we can have her back next week and things, and thank her for coming promoting. This is a tool for her. It's a tool for me. You know, like I said, black men and black women can work together. You know what I'm saying? Guys, all right, Rashida, thank you for coming by, and I'll be contacting you by email.
All right, thank you. Signing out, the world's first dark-skinned activist.
Peace.